Y'all, Candyman. Okay, I'm not gonna say that 4 more times, but this movie was spectacular. Should I say spooktacular? Whatever. Let's jump into the review. In present day, a decade after the last of the Cabrini Towers were torn down, Anthony and his partner moved into a loft in the now gentrified Cabrini. A chance encounter with an old-timer exposes Anthony to the true story behind Candyman. Anxious to use these macabre details in his studio as fresh grist for paintings, he unknowingly opens the door to a complex past that unravels his own sanity and unleashes a terrifying wave of violence. This was directed by Nia DaCosta, written by Jordan Peele, and stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen, Tiana Paris, Coleman Domingo, and Tony Todd. And guys, I just gotta say, this was well done. I'm a big fan of the original Candyman. I think that there were definitely some issues in the movie, but I am a big fan of that movie, especially because there's just not a lot of horror movies that have like a black antagonist, and it's such a beloved movie in horror, in my opinion, and it's so unique, and the character and myth and lore of the Candyman is so rich and deep, and man, let me tell you guys, they did a knockout job this time. Let's start out with what works, and I just got to start out with Nia DaCosta because a lot of these elements in the movie just belong together. She directed the heck out of this film. I mean, the acting, the direction, the score, so many things are just so well done in this movie. The cinematography, there are some really enticing shots in this movie that just get you set in such a chilling mood and really get you creeped out. There are these weird looming slow zooms, these close-up shots on objects outside of our main subject. There are just these shots that really get you in this creeped out, uncomfortable feeling, and they are so well strung together, well shot, well edited, and the score, it's visceral, like the first movie. The first movie has a very memorable score to it, especially if you know 90s R&B, you'll recognize that melody, but it's very memorable and it's very visceral and feels so creepy and chilling, and the score in this movie accomplishes the same thing. The acting, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, seriously, you acted your butt off, man. Tiana Paris was great in WandaVision. She's great in this, again, and they have great on-screen chemistry with one another, and Coleman Domingo playing the older character that Yahya Abdul-Mateen's character meets. By the way, his character Anthony is from the first film, so definitely check out Candyman before checking this out. But man, Coleman seriously delivers like he always does. So honestly, that was a triple threat there with direction, score, acting, all so good. But I also want to talk about the story and some things that it touches on that just are incredible and really need to be talked about. And that main theme is gentrification and the effects that it does have on a community. And unfortunately, it's sad to see so many communities around America being torn down and built back up and gentrified, prices raised. It really does hurt communities and it makes people feel forgotten about. And I think that that's a big move they make here in this next Candyman with what they do with the character. I don't want to spoil because obviously you got to go see the movie to check it out, but just really exploring that theme of gentrification and how it could be hurtful to a community. And in the first movie, Cabrini Green was that community where people looked from the outside and thought, oh my gosh, it's so horrifying. I never want to go there. They felt fear. But when you meet the character Anne Marie, you know that there are people there, normal people there that live there who that community just needs help. I mean, in the beginning of the first Candyman, there's a story about a woman who called the police and the police didn't even come help her and the Candyman killed her. So it's just a community that is always ignored, and gentrification is not the answer. So I love that Candyman deeply explores this, and I don't want to dive too deep because I don't want to spoil, but wow, I love that. And not only just that, the myth and lore of Candyman is well explored in this movie. I would say the first movie, that was one miss, is that there was so much plotting around in the middle of the first movie, but this one we get the story behind the Candyman, which we do in the first one, but it's explore better in this one because there's actually visual representation of what happened through these little shadow puppets, which that is another awesome move. Great visuals there. But the story and the myth and the lore are explored a lot more. Even saying his name 5 times in the mirror, I'm not gonna do that. That is explored more in this film. So honestly, like, Candyman 2021 has so many brilliant steps. Like, it is just, it's really well done. Now let's get to what maybe doesn't quite work about the movie. So speaking on what doesn't work, I will say there's a few plot conveniences that just feel a little weird. There's like a festering arm on Yahya Abdul-Mateen's character, and I'm just like, okay, wouldn't somebody like let him know, like, bro, you need to go get that checked out? And a couple more things here and there that just, come on, are a little too good to be true. But honestly, I really like this movie a lot. I thought it was a fantastic companion to the original, and I don't really have many complaints. Couple little maybe writing irks here and there, like I said, the arm and things like the festering arm. And I will say there's like a moment in the third act where I was just kind of like this feels a little out of place, but I don't want to spoil that moment. But I just think that there's like towards the end there's a weird sequence that I thought could have been executed a little bit better, and it features our 3 main characters. So once you get to it, you'll see what I mean. But I just gotta say, this movie was awesome. It's great with the original. Nia DaCosta pretty much takes the original and just paints her own vision with this movie. I seriously enjoyed the heck out of it, and I suggest anybody check this out. If I had to give a rating to Candyman 2021, I would go a 9 out of 10. I thought this was an incredible movie, and honestly, one of my favorite of the year at this point. After seeing that, guys, I'm spooked. The story is sitting with me. The themes are sitting with me. It's an incredible movie, guys. I definitely suggest anybody go check this out. And if you like that first one, but maybe not the 2 that follow, you're really going to like this spiritual sequel to Candyman. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this review. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button for your boy Leo Rydell, and we'll see you next time on Geekly Goods.